Hi, I'm Julie Shepherd, and I'm Founding Director of a KIC, a community interest company called Heartbroken to Healed. We deal with anybody who has a broken heart and help them to move beyond the pain of loss. Society in general teaches us how to acquire things, not what to do when we lose them. And there are all kinds of myths associated with grief, like keep busy, time heals, be strong, and all of those things. And whilst they might be intellectually true, they're not very helpful to heal our broken hearts. Most of us know more about first aid than we do about grief and emotions. So as a society, I think we need to get better at actually talking about emotions and what to do with them. So I teach an 8-week program where we get together every week just for an hour and discuss all of the intellectual things around grief, what it actually is, why we're grieving, how we behave, how our emotions have exhibited themselves, as well as learning some practical tools to process the grieving process to get to a point of recovery. And recovery means feeling better. It's really important in the work that we do around grief that people come together as a community. The Hub has been a brilliant place to actually bring together people from all sorts of walks of life. So we might have somebody who has had a miscarriage, the loss of a child, a parent who has dementia, a broken relationship, the loss of a loved one. And all of those grief experiences we can bring together and learn from each other's journey. So it's really important to create a safe space where it's confidential and people can share their journeys and learn together. Partnerships are a really interesting and challenging topic, and to get people to know about all of the services and support structures that are out there is really quite challenging. So when I met the Hub, it was their mind was blown because they realised how many of the clients that actually pass through their doors are likely to be experiencing some sort of loss. So it was great. It was a great facility for them to be able to put information out on social media, to be able to connect with all the social workers locally, looking at sort of midwifery groups. So the Hub is really well connected to their community that they serve. So it's super to be able to partner with them so that they can actually get that message out to the wider community. There really aren't any disadvantages to working in a relational way because with grief, it's really important to position the fact that there is no hierarchy of grief. Everyone grieves at 100%. There are no half grievers, and every grief journey is unique. So everybody comes along with their own experiences, some of which will be shared experiences that other people can relate to. But it is just so important that everyone comes. We work in small groups, small confidential groups of 3, so you're not having to talk in front of sort of lots of people. And everyone gets a chance to have their say and to talk about the journey that they've been on. I specialise in adult grief, so over 18s. The great thing about the programme and where I look at it, I was 48 when I discovered sort of the grief recovery method. And if I had known when I was 28 what I'd learnt to deal with grief, how different my life would have been. I was a divorced mum of 2 under 5s at 28 with no idea how to process those conflicting emotions that were going on. I deal with sort of adults of all ages and have clients in their early 20s and their late 70s. So that it's never too early or too late to actually deal with your grief and to resolve the pain in your broken heart. The other thing that I do offer is a teaching program for the adults to help their children. So a program called When Children Grieve. It rarely happens that a child will be grieving an event that a parent has not experienced. So what I would always advocate is that the parent, it's like putting on your own oxygen mask first. You need to deal with your own grief before you can help those around you. So once you've learnt some tools to actually help heal your own heart, then is a good place to help to heal the pain in your children's hearts. So a 4-week program about children's grief and how to help them process their painful emotions is available. Lots of people ask me about sort of how the program impacts your faith. And the program is secular. And it's important that it's that way because a lot of people, if they do have a faith and a grief experience, begin to blame God. So it's really important that we can actually leave God to one side. If you do have a faith, it's amazing that that faith will always break through in any program that you're actually teaching. So I do have a Christian background, and I believe that the program is biblically based. But it's not essential for everyone to share that view. So you can come to it from whatever walk of life. So grief is, as we said before, it's universal, and people of all faiths often try to lean on their faith, as I did at first after my loss, the death of my husband. And I discovered that even leaning on my faith didn't help. I still had a broken heart, and my faith leaders weren't able to offer any solutions or any tools to help me to recover. So I will now go into faith organizations and actually teach the program. So the faith leaders have been very receptive to actually hearing about a secular program that's open to everyone, no matter what their background is. Society puts lots of barriers in our way of dealing with grief because it's probably the least talked about subject on the planet. We don't engage in feeling words, and very often we feel this emotional rumbling going on inside. And when you try to find that word, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not quite sure what to call that emotion that I'm experiencing. So with the use of a feeling wheel, we can actually help to express the feelings that we're experiencing and give them name and give them voice, which helps on part of our recovery journey. One of the great things that I really love about the program that I teach is that it's universally acceptable, but also it changes the way that people engage with those around them. So you end up with a toolkit that helps you not only engage and recover from the loss that's brought you to the course, but allows you to be able to look back on other losses that you've had in life. So grief is cumulative, and I can be pretty sure that this isn't your first grief experience. So the toolkit allows us to be able to review all of those losses and what we call get complete, so feel better about all of those life experiences. We also are able to engage better with those around us. So when we learn about emotional honesty, we start to tell the emotional truth to people in our sphere of influence. So family, friends, children, they all start to hear us talk differently, to be honest about our feelings, to share what we're going through. And this can have a huge impact. At the moment, society says, grieve alone, go to your room and don't let anyone else see you upset. But that doesn't help teach our children anything useful. So we need to be honest with what we're experiencing and be more transparent about that. There are so many people that come to grief recovery lessons as a consequence of referrals and feedback. Oh, I know someone who needs to learn this. So it might be a parent, a friend, a relative, someone close, someone distant. There are so many people. If everybody can learn some new skills to move forwards in life, then society can begin to be more emotionally capable.